Hello, I'm Blade BoQuest, and this is going to be a guide on Black Desert Online Rifts. So it's not really a PvE expansion, it's more of a mini game. So this is going to go over, if you've never played it before, first things to do as soon as you get in, we're going to go over a wave strategy. So there's 5 different waves of bosses, and there are 4 different waves where enemies start coming in the air. So I'm going to go over how to handle that. We're going to go over base building, which is pretty dang important. So actual different varieties of either the A style, B style, C style, common bases. I like to put my own style on things, so I got my blade style, but if you guys don't have that, we've got other styles for you guys to choose from, so that's good. Also, how to use the siege weapons. Some of you guys haven't played siege weapons before, how to use them, where they're most effective, what is a completely useless item versus what you have to have in order to win. We're also going to go over the actual items in there, what to get, what not to get, how they work, and finally, pro tips. So I got a section here. I don't care if you've beaten Wave 25 a dozen times. I think there are a couple things here that even the established base builders have not utilized to the fullest. So those are going to be the categories of this guide. Hopefully it helps you guys not die in here, and it hopefully helps your teammates. So if you got a teammate that doesn't know what's going on, send them over to this thing, and that way your pugging will go a little bit better next time. And not to mention how to actually get into these, so there is a strategy as well. Alright guys, well, I think it's time to...
Go Blade style.
Who said that? Alright, I'll see you in there.
Leroy BoQuest.
Oh my god, I just ran in. Alright, so even if you're really tempted, don't go behind the portal when you're waiting for teammates. You will fall through the floor and die. Now this is how you had to get in there on the first day. It might be a little bit easier, but in case it's camped, just mouse over the rift button there, hit double escape, click. You gotta make sure that you're not processing, you're not blocking, and you are completely idle, not in a bed, not moving, nothing, or this might happen. I'm processing, I can't get in while processing. No, man, I had it. I was so fast on that click. Come on. Alright, so you guys made it into the Savage Rift. You don't want to go down to that area. That is where the portal will spawn, and you'll fall through the earth. While you're waiting for teammates, you want to pick up a Savage Matchlock and ammo. Now, occasionally it'll bug saying that you have 0 points. You should start off with 30, which will allow you the Matchlock. Alright, so once you have that, you just equip this thing, throw your ammo on. You do need that on your offhand. It doesn't matter how much AP you have. You can have 250, 60, 70 AP. It is not going to make a difference. This is how you do this. So, the PvE expansion is basically Duck Hunter. Yeah. Okay, so you right click to load up your musket. Okay, and you can see how many bullets you have down here in the bottom left. So that's 3. And you're gonna just take aim, and then left click, hold it down, and then you're gonna get 3 shots off. This is not started yet. So we have 2-minute countdown until this wave actually begins. So we are not on wave 1 yet, we're on wave 0. You can actually start shooting and killing them before they even appear in front of you, as long as they are on your map. So you want to watch this part of your mini-map, and if they're red and if they're in front of you, you will be able to shoot and kill these guys. Alright, now DP does make a difference, so your levels and all that stuff, it can stop you from getting one shot from bosses. That is pretty important, so if you have any kind of tank gear, you can do this. It's not as elaborate as like needing to keep your alchemy stone on, in my opinion. Though food also helps, so I recommend Valencia Special as your #1 food here, followed up with Knight's Combat's Ration, and then Calpheon Meal is a good way to go. Okay, let's go over these items. So we're going to have health potions in here. Your basic health potions will not work. You only want to pick these up maybe towards the end, like 15 plus waves. And you don't want very many, because these cost points, and points are your currency in here, and that's how you build your base, and it's how you win. So I try to get like maybe 5 of them. 5 up to 10. You would never ever buy mana potions. You would never ever buy these herbal juice things, ever. So here you got Savage Medkits. These cost 5 points. This will help you res. On boss waves, everybody reses, but you still need to bring your allies up. So you have to go into mouse click mode, click on their corpse, and then hit the button that opens your inventory, and then right click it in your inventory in order to res somebody. Okay, so you accomplished step 1, buying the musket, getting the ammo, getting to the rift. Step 2 is deciding on a base style. So you have style A, style B, style C. We'll get to that in a second, but you want to decide as a group which kind of base that you want to have. Step 3 is you want to decide on who is going to build that. Who is going to be your base builder, and they will be using these barricades. They will be using these iron ingots. So that won't be for everybody. That'll just be for your builder. But the way that would work is it's 15 points for a barricade. You can place it. It's a 4-second channel time to build a barricade, and then it's 10 seconds to build or to upgrade the barricade, make it into iron. That would take 30 points to get 10 of those iron ingots. Later on, you have an enhanced matchlock, which you do want to acquire in the higher waves. You've got a cannon, which you basically don't need. This does less damage than the enhanced musket, has a very long reload time, and it's relatively just ineffective compared to the other flame towers and things that we have. So just kind of ignore the cannons for the most part. We do have flame towers, which is going to do more damage than the basic musket, a little bit less damage than the enhanced musket, but it hits a very wide area, and then also it has just a fast reload time. So these flame towers are very important in higher waves, generally wave 10 plus. The oil costs 2 points each. A lot of times you want to load up your own flame towers. Don't overload it though. You don't want to have anything over 50 shots because these flame towers can be destroyed. Later on, you might want a hwacha. That's going to be determined by your base builder, and there's your hwacha ammo. This essentially will get placed down and then cover your base if your base does get swarmed. So when you're in, you have all of your muskets, or you got your musket, you got your ammo. You want to hit space, which will get you crouched down here. This will actually allow you to reload faster and extend your aim. So you want to right click, load it up, ready to go. You got your ammo. Now this does actually mean 100 shots. It takes you 20 points to get this, so you want to make sure that while you're transferring points, and we'll get into that, you don't get to the point where you don't have any ammo. So transferring points, you aren't going to be able to do that until it says wave 5 here. So the number 5 needs to be up there, and then you can click on somebody, you can send over the points. All right, let's go over base styles. So this is style A, right? So this is the most common thing that we got going on. Pretty much how this works is wave 1 through 7, people just spend their points to upgrade their enhanced muskets. So this heavily relies on individual firepower from the rifles. And then after wave 7, the builder starts working on it. Now, if you are doing this, you would either need to place kind of like in front of the lake like this to just stop these guys from getting here, or if you come all the way back in the middle, that's okay, but you're gonna have to barricade the left side. Sometimes this does get positioned all the way back here. That's fine. Again, you're just gonna have to barricade along the lake side. So most common, it's up front. I kind of prefer it in the middle. I think it works just a little bit better where the front lines is back here. But this is what I've seen most common. Either way, so around wave 7, your base builder starts building a line of barricades. That's what they're going to need. Now notice that they're placed vertically here, not horizontally. What happens is you're going to have room to walk through these, but the NPCs actually get stuck. They have some kind of collision on an invisible part of the barricade. And so it looks as if those things can just walk right by, but they never do. So that's, this is a good way to get all the way up and back through this stuff. Now, after your first line of barricades gets placed, and you guys are shooting, you got all your rifles, things like that, typically, before you even go into a second line of barricades, you would start placing flame towers. So this happens around wave 10, wave 11, not any later than that. You get your first flame tower right here in the middle, and typically they just kind of line up. Now, you don't want to have as few as 5, though that is, I'm showing you what pretty much would be the minimum to make this thing work. You just want to line them up. You just want to line them up, have anywhere from 6 to 9 flame towers directly in front, side by side. It is possible for the flame towers to bug and for you not to be able to get into them if you start placing barricades all over these things. But as long as you have, as long as they're not like half in a barricade, you should be fine. So once you get pretty much 3 to 5 flame towers down, you want to definitely upgrade your first line of barricades, right? This needs to be upgraded into iron ingots and to an iron barricade before wave 15. That's definitely like the final straw there. If you can start upgrading them around 12, that's good too. 13 even. And then you want to set up your second line of barricades. So what happens is at the later waves, wave 17, not so much 18, but 19, 20, things like that, the heavy melee waves, they're going to run from the portal into this stuff, and they're going to scatter. You're going to see them all over the place, and you're going to have flame towers going to the right, to the left, all of that stuff, but there's enough firepower in the front that it might take down the first barricade, but by this time your builder already has the second line up and the third line, and they're reinforcing. So we understand that these barricades especially will be taken down. The right side is pretty weak in this system, as they often will ram through here. Sometimes they can break through. It's not the worst thing in the world. Then you just patch the breach and you keep going. Lakeside also can be pretty vulnerable with this. So it's simple to build though, and it works pretty effectively. So that's A style. Now we got B style, my personal favorite. So I like this one a lot just because it's a little bit more clever. The A style works just fine. B style though is fun. It's fun, and honestly I think it's better for the team simply because the way this works is it creates the vulnerability in its design. So it's like building a dam, stopping a river. You know there's going to be overflows, and you build for it. So that way, you're always in the exact spot. You can monitor it very easily. You don't have people firing to the left, to the right, up, down. But either way, you don't have them firing everywhere. Instead, you know exactly where everything's going to go. The way the NPC pathing works is they will always go to not just the thinnest line of barricades, but they will go to the furthest barricade towards your base. So your base is down here. So this has a little bit different of a point strategy. So wave 1 through 7 for A style, you want to save for your enhanced rifles. You want everybody to have an enhanced rifle as soon as you can, and then you get your line of barricades down and you rely on people shooting with their skill, and then you get your flame tower line. B style, on the other hand, pretty much points want to come over around wave 5. You start sending points to the base builder, or the base builder's up there with rifles and he gets the first 100 or 200 points or something. And you set up this line right here. So as you become a more accomplished builder, you'll notice there's one line that can go a little bit further to the right in the middle of this cave wall. So you want to start with that particular one. Anyway, you get this, and then you go back here. So what this does is it creates this U. So you're just going to have the back line here, probably up until wave 8 or 9 or something along those lines. All of the goblins, all of the NPCs, everything will just run into it. And they all just sit right here. So the way we get away with not having upgraded rifles up front is they just position themselves here and here. All damage actually fires into the U. So by firing into the U, those NPCs are all clumped up, and you can hit 30 of them with one rifle shot. So it doesn't matter if you haven't upgraded rifles or not, at least at this stage. And then the base builder, you want to set up your next wave here, double it up here. You want to double it up on the left side as well, and maybe even triple it on the right and the left side before you put your second layer here. The reason you do that is because if you just like build these 3 waves, then you've just destroyed your whole base design, and they're going to start going around the sides, because then this is no longer the thinnest, this is no longer the furthest back towards the tower. And you can do this relatively indefinitely, like you can keep pushing up. 3 is fine. That's really all you need. Now, my favorite part about this strategy is that once you get the flame towers up, and you can actually use more than 2 in the front. After I designed this, I started messing around with a little bit more, did another 24 or so wins to like just see how I could tweak it. And if you set up maybe 4 flame towers in the front, you'd be in better shape. But the nice thing is all the flame towers do the same strategy as the rifles. They shoot directly into here. So you basically build a gas chamber. It's fun. Like, these rifts get boring because it's like it'll feel like running relics, right? The first couple days, it's exciting for all of us, but like as a base builder, this at least makes it like kind of an interesting flow. Now, the other nice thing is it's basically pug proof. So on style A, everybody's firing everywhere. Maybe they're in the flame towers, maybe they're not. Like, you don't really know. Here, you set up anywhere between 5 and 7 flame towers. You aim at one spot and they just spam space. And you have plenty of time this way because it's always going to this. And whenever the barricades get low, you place a new barricade in front. Now, you can be CC'd while placing a barricade. So you want to be on the edges out here, and you want to place a barricade up here. But you cannot be CC'd if you are upgrading the barricade. So even like in the worst, if this is wave 25 and all the heat's coming, we know where they're going. You can get your barricades placed as long as you're on the sides before these other ones break. And then you can actually move up there and upgrade it while it's still taking damage, and you can get that off in 10 seconds and you have a new iron barricade. So it's very easy to monitor as a base builder, and that's style B. Oh, and then I guess the final thing is you have a watcher back here as well. just because in case you get that overflow, because there is a lot of pressure in one spot, the Hwacha, it can just fire on this stuff. Your flame tower, one of them, not both, generally will be able to cover the tower as well. So Hwachas cannot cover themselves. Sometimes they will run all the way back here, so just be aware of that. But it will be able to cover your base until this pressure gets fixed. So I really enjoy fighting with that base style. And C style, more of a free-for-all style. This basically encompasses a lot of individual designs that people like to mess around with. So the biggest thing with C style is they kind of like have a back line with barricades. They'll throw up some flame towers to guard it, and you just see them pile on more and more and more. So this strategy is less of get huge firepower across the front and just handle it and then upgrade barricades behind it. It's less of build a gas chamber, manage that one spot. This is basically a continuous building. Some people build mazes out of it and things like that. Hwacha generally like goes up here just to get extra damage down on the portal. This will work. There's a lot of problems with it though, as it is a convex design. What happens is when NPCs come in, they aren't going here, they're going over here, and they're going to go over here. What this does though is it gives the flame towers a lot of different paths or a lot of different room to hit them. And with knockbacks on the flame tower, you can typically kill them as they're streaming in, but it a lot of times weakens the sides. So not my favorite base style, but those are the three big ones that will definitely work. Okay, so wave strategy. We already went over 1 through 7. You're basically going to be getting your points. If it's B style, you're going to be sending it to your builders, so he builds his U, and then after that U is built, then you save for your enhanced rifle. If it's A style, everybody goes for the rifle as soon as possible. C style is more of free for all. So, and it's up to your group how you guys want to handle it. Anyway, you do eventually want to have an enhanced rifle. You want to have that no later than wave 18, because wave 8, 13, 18, and 23 are harpies. So that means they're no longer coming through the land and attacking your base and all that stuff. Now, instead, they show up on the air. So you need to get out of your siege weapons. You need to be out. None of the siege weapons will hit them. I mean, maybe if one of the low-flying harpies runs into a flame tower, but just get out of your siege weapons, get into a rifle position. The nice thing about these harpies is that whenever you do this enough, you will notice that the patterning is the same. Now, I mean, I guess you could take it to the whole Guitar Hero level of knowing exactly which shot and how to move it, what's coming next. But I just mean you can get pretty used to, like, okay, a low-flying harpy comes out of the bottom right. That means a black elite harpy is going to come out right next to it in like 2 seconds. So just reload and take aim. You want to prioritize the elite harpies if you can. Those things do a ton of damage. Spread out, though. Just spread out, and you will take aggro on these harpies if you're far in front of the base, and that's fine if you're tanky. If you're like level 56, you have low DP, you don't want to do that. Either way, those are the harpy waves, and that's pretty important. Your base design, your base builder is going to win you the fight, but a bad rifle team can lose the fight anyway. And I've seen it happen at like wave 13. We like get out of there with like 20% base health because nobody's shooting these things, and then of course the next harpy wave you're just toast. So just shoot the things and you should be fine. Now boss waves come every 5. So the first boss wave is 5, then 10, then 15, 20, 25. Bosses are a little bit different. So if you die in the middle of any of these rifts, you will not res. If you die in a boss wave, at the end of the boss wave, you will res. So again, remember that the number on the top of the screen, number 5, for example, shows you that number 5 is the next wave, right? So that's not the wave that you're currently on. The number on top is the wave that's coming, and the timer there shows you how long until it starts. So boss waves are 5 minutes. Whenever you kill all of the ads, which you want to prioritize first, the boss shows up. It's going to rain havoc on your structures and your base. It's going to kill a bunch of people if they're under geared, all that stuff, which you shouldn't be dying to these, by the way. Like, even the lowest geared, here's what you do. Listen to me, and then pug better for your teams. You just dodge roll. If you dodge roll, it's an iframe. And, like, I don't know how long I kited, or not even kited, I tanked a boss without taking damage in rifle form, just dodge rolling when it's hitting. So stop dying, you guys. All right, either way, if you do die, or if the guys that don't watch this video die, they will res at the end of your boss wave. So the most important thing is whoever has aggro on this boss, after those ads die, you go up towards the portal. Everybody's out of siege weapons. Nobody's hitting them with siege weapons. You don't want them aggroing on your base. So you just go up there. You can hold the aggro for a little bit. Aggro tables are crazy in Black Desert, but keep them up there, and then your base builder can keep doing this stuff. You do have to get at least one hit off on the boss in order to get loot. I don't know how many rifts I went through where I was just building the base. I never hit any of the bosses. And I knew I wasn't getting loot because I just wanted more experience building and I wanted to see how it goes. But yeah, even the builders need to have a rifle and they need to just get a shot or two off. And if you can run by, if you're not under heavy pressure, that's important. So there you go. Those are the waves. That's how you handle it. Now, with the biggest waves, wave 24, 25, as long as you have 3 rows of iron barricades, regardless of your style, you should be able to get enough pressure on these things so that you can kill them. Even with heavy breaches, you can get rifles on the towers, even at the end, and still recover if it looks like you're totally swarmed. Remember, don't panic, and you should be okay. But it doesn't matter what your strategy is, everybody needs to have an enhanced rifle by wave 18. You can survive without it, but just there's no reason to cut any corners. Talk to your teammates, say, hey, does everybody have an enhanced rifle? Can I send points to anybody? As long as your base builder is okay with it. To the think tank to talk about some rewards. If you guys do finish this before September 20th, there are a variety of different things that you can get. So if you go through wave 1 to 5 before that date, you get the title Savage Rift Challenger, good stuff. GM Lucky Box, Black Suns, you can see it right there. All the way down to if you beat wave 21 to 25, Savage Rift Conqueror title. With you get Advice of the Valk, so you get some fail sacks there, and an immediate accessory box. So good reason to do it in the next month. Hopefully this guide will allow you to do it. Boss rewards. There are 5 different bosses: Red Nose, Gaiath, Beg, Titium, and Org. So through every 5 stages. Each of them will drop Hunter Seals, Weapon Stones, armor Weapon Stones, has a chance of it. Now they can each drop a furniture piece for that boss, which is kind of cool. So you can get the Imp's Captain Knife off of Red Nose. You can get the Goblin Chief Helmet off of Gaiath, which is good, because that's going to give you, I believe it's 11 accuracy, it's a furniture buff. You can get the Beg's Shining Helmet. That is 20 evasion as a furniture. That is solid. And later on, you can get, let's see here, the Mutant Enhancer. So those are kind of cool. You can actually turn those things in. 20 of them for a Witch Earring, and 100 of them for an Ogre Ring. So just a little bit of added loot. You can also get boss pieces from all of these things. So then, depending on which wave that you finish, you get a certain amount of gold ingots, all the way up to 7 million for finishing wave 25. So if you're wiping in the middle of it, you get to 16, 17, wave 20. It's really not worth it. But if you're clearing 25 all the time, that's pretty good. That's a solid. It usually takes like 45 minutes maybe to run through this, and you could easily get 15 million, maybe more if you get lucky, maybe a little bit less, but you can easily get 13 to 20 million an hour running rifts. So it does make it pretty good. You have to be level 56 to get in here at all, but it is a very good alternative if you don't have gear or a great life skill empire going. Pro tips and final thoughts here. Remember, you cannot be CC'd while upgrading barricades. You only need 1 base builder. You do not need 2. Smart base builder will place barricades whenever he's not under direct crazy fire and upgrade him when he is. One thing you can do in these Rift siege weapons that you cannot do in normal Node Wars and normal siege weapons is that you can actually take ammo out of it. So that's pretty important, not a lot of people know. You can't take ammo out of another siege weapon if somebody is in it. But if you have a siege weapon, you put ammo in, you can actually take that back out if it looks like it's going to be destroyed. So keep that in mind. In order to res somebody, you actually have to go into mouse click mode, click on their corpse, and then that opens your inventory, and then you click on the medkit in your inventory. That's the only way to do it. When you are in siege, you fire off your flame towers with space. Your Hwacha, however, you have to hold shift and then left and right, which would pick it up. There's a little bit of delay, so be patient. Drag it where you want. You can point it up or down, and left click while holding shift will fire that out. As a rifleman, always kneel. You'll have a longer range, and you will be able to reload faster. Plus, you want to always, as a rifleman, aim for the bigger targets first. Very important tip for base builders that you can actually hotkey your structures. So you can put a barricade, for example, on your hotkeys, press that, and then immediately you go right into it. So you don't have to open your inventory and click on it every time. Also, be aware of the blue spaces and the blue pegs around you. You don't have to move after you place every structure. I see a lot of people like move a couple feet after each thing, and you just don't need to do that until you run out of blue pegs. Remember, DP does help, so build tanky. AP does nothing, so don't worry about that side of it. You can hit them before you see them. Watch your mini-map, and you can remember the patterning in terms of harpies. For the early melee waves, go very, very far left. Stay on our side of the portal, but go far left, and you'll be able to shoot diagonally and actually hit them first. When you get in, disable your pets because it's going to block your own field of view. So, you want to have your pets out there, but you want to turn them off. You also want to turn on character names, not family names, because it uses character names over on the left side, and you need to be able to communicate with your team. When you are upgrading a barricade, it will go to full health as an iron barricade, even if it is down to last 1% as a normal barricade. XP buffs do not help. I popped my 200% just to see. It does nothing. So you're always going to get the same level of XP buffs. Alright, and lastly, if you use the bracket keys, you can actually rotate the barricades just a little bit so you can make kind of a perfect circle if you wanted to. You can spell stuff out. Who knows, it has multiple uses. But overall, guys, that is Rifts. I didn't just do it to help you, didn't just do it to help me. Hopefully the idea is to raise the collective skill level of the Black Desert Rift pugs so that all of our games can go a little bit smoother. So, let your teammates know if they don't have a clue. I literally watched a berserker basically use his axes for all 25 waves, and we just carried him through it. So if you see some moron doing like everything wrong, hopefully this can help him out a little bit. But yeah, as usual, guys, dislike the video, unsubscribe, and I'll see you in the next... Wait, hang on, how's this go? Whatever. Anyway, I did enjoy Rifts. I didn't really think they would be that great whenever I found out it was just using rifles and we couldn't actually fight the style that we enjoy with our classes and things. But it kind of grew on me, and I actually did have a lot of fun in there. So, good stuff. It's pretty buggy. You're going to have a lot of desync issues where you're just going to get stuck and rubber band forever. Slow down. Be careful around the edges of barricades. Hopefully they'll fix some of that. It is very, very buggy. I've already reported tons of different glitches and problems with it. I found one on live stream. Here's that clip. But I'll see you on the next video. It's not my fault. It's not my fault. It could have happened to anybody. Again. 2 rifles. Oh, dude, that that legit hurt my side. 2 rifles, 1 rift. You gotta. Hang on. No way. 2 rifles, 1 rift, guys. I'm sorry. All right, I'm sorry. Rifle. Oh yeah, whatever. 2 rifles, 1 rift. You've got to be kidding me. No. No. How does this happen? I'm just trying to play the game. All right.